This video is for my future self, and it's to my future kids one day. If they watch this, I'm going to point them to this video because this is going to be important for them to watch, because by the time they're alive, our world is going to be gone to absolute crap if we continue in the direction that we're going right now, which is what I call an attention grabbing, an attention seeking, an attention stealing world that we live in today in the online world. My name is Chris and this is VerrilloTrading. I make videos about trading here, and I think that the number one skill to improve in trading or in anything that you want to accomplish in your life is self-control and discipline. And you guys probably already knew that, but in this video I wanted to explain to you a few things, a few different perspectives of how I think this is important, why I think this is important, and a few ways that it's helped me to get better this year and become a better human being, become more aligned with my goals. You know, you might have a problem with your diet. That might be your problem. Or someone else might have a problem is that they're unable to control how much time they spend on social media. Another person might have a problem with dealing with women. Maybe they spend too much time hanging around women and they're not getting anything done. Maybe they have a problem with lust. That's a different problem, but it still relates to the same idea, which is self-control and the ability to control your desires, control your primal reactions, your instincts, and all that, and be able to kind of develop a more stoic way of living life and approaching the world. So I know my viewers, you guys are mostly guys. And if you're a chick, well, send this to your boyfriend, send it to a guy who you think needs to improve their self-control, okay? In this video, I'm actually gonna make you hear from a friend of mine who's a professional fighter. Well, he trains at a fighting gym every single day. He wakes up early in the morning, and I asked him a few questions about if he thinks his fighting has improved his overall lifestyle in other areas apart from just going to the gym. Remember, guys, if you enjoyed this content, press the like button, subscribe. I have plenty of video tutorials on this channel. I have mostly platform software trading tutorials. If you wanna support this content, it's very simple. Click on the first link down below that checks out interactivebrokers.com. And if you need remote assistance help with trading software like TWS or Sierra Chart, you can send me an email at support@verillotrading.com, and we'll see if I can fit you into the schedule. This video is dedicated to all my guys out there in today's world who are trying to show up every day, crush your dreams, go and fight your battles that you have to fight, and overcome the problems you have to overcome. And I want to be clear that the stuff I'm talking about in this video relates exclusively really to my own perspective, right? So you might have a different perspective regarding all of this. One thesis that I have to present to you is that I believe that the world has evolved to a point now where, like I said, we're in an attention-seeking, attention-grabbing society, but I believe that some of the things that are presented to us in the world today in the form of media and in the form of imagery and in other things, if you look at it from a religious standpoint or a biblical standpoint, it is considered on the side of evil. And there are biblical references you can make that prove this, okay? This phone right here has the potential to control your entire life if you're not careful. And you should not take that simple fact for granted. I see everybody on their phones nonstop. And depending on how you frame it, it could be a good thing because you can get a lot done while you're on your phone in the virtual world. But if you're always on your phone, you're not living in the real world anymore. You're not experiencing real organic world interactions anymore, and you're numbing your mind to certain things. So the thing about the phone, the reason why it's a big problem is because it shows you imagery, and the imagery that it shows you, it gives your brain a reaction. I'm sure you've heard the term or about the brain chemical dopamine. The brain chemical dopamine is basically, it's your pleasure receptors, and obviously it's more technical than that. I'm not really a scientist regarding brain chemicals, but every time you look at an image, potentially a graphic image, you know, it could be pornography, it could be something that just a pretty looking image, or it could be you're experiencing an event in real life that is a pleasing event. Maybe you're at a party or something like that. You're experiencing a dopamine chemical reaction, and this reaction makes you feel good. It makes you feel happy. So in today's generation, in today's society, these devices, these phones, they show us these images non-stop all day long. And if you're not careful, if you're not able to regulate your consumption of this and other things, you're numbing your receptors to that dopamine chemical that you're experiencing. Now, if you look up online the definition of the word dopamine, the first thing it says before it gives you the definition is the word drug. Dopamine in itself, it's a natural brain chemical, but the main problem with it is that, like any other drug, you build up a tolerance to it. I believe that when you build up a tolerance to this, you're essentially destroying what I would consider the default human experience of living life. Because, when you normally live life, when you walk down the street or you go to a park and you see a friend and you're just living life as you normally would, your brain is in a pretty neutral state and you're experiencing each moment and each new stimuli that comes into your sphere. You're experiencing it from a neutral state. But when your brain is in that state where it's used to consuming an abnormal amount of imagery, stimuli basically is the proper word, from social media, pornography, food is another one. So your brain is not in the default state. You are not living life in the default way anymore. Your brain is like almost kind of switched off in some areas and switched on in other areas, and it's all out of whack. And this is what the online attention-seeking, grabbing world is doing to all of our brains. So that's why it is very important to develop strategies, unique strategies based on your situation and your unique goals of what you want to accomplish. You have to develop strategies to regulate these stimuli, the various new stimuli that are coming into your world every day, that you open your phone, you read emails, you look at images, you have a tendency to look at pornography a couple times per week. You go eat at McDonald's and they show you all these pretty images. You go to a pop concert, 50 Cent, and you have all these women dancing in this fashion. And there's so much information being thrown your way. And I believe that it's important to learn how to perceive this information from multiple perspectives. This year, I've been studying a little bit into what's called semen retention. And some of you guys are gonna laugh at me. You can click off the video if you want, okay? I think that there is extreme benefits when it comes to self-control and working on your self-control. If it applies to your goals and what you want to accomplish in life, I believe that there are benefits to refraining or reducing the amount of stimuli that you experience. And for some people, this might be cutting porn or reducing your exposure to porn. And during those time periods where I refrain from masturbation and viewing pornography, I've noticed that those have been periods where I typically accomplish a lot and I do things that I never would have thought were possible. So when you watch a video of yourself from a few months ago or a long time ago and you say, wow, I was really immature, I was really stupid back then and now I'm smarter, that normally means that you're growing and that you've grown quite a bit in that time period. Sometimes you might have these revelations where you think, well, 3 months ago, I would not have even thought what I've currently been able to accomplish was even possible. I've experienced this numerous times since I got into programming. When I first got into programming, I was just innocently writing a few scripts in Sierra Chart with the help of a friend named Frozen Tundra, who's a good YouTuber. Check out his YouTube channel. And to the point now where I'm just writing, network applications to make my life better. I built a whole backend for my website that processes payments. It's secure and it's safe from hackers. But when I really backtracked my steps, I realized that all I did was I took one step at a time towards something that I was envisioning. And during that time period, I also happened to be refraining from a lot of stimuli that I had been experiencing during my early 20s. And also during that time period, I had very limited access or limited exposure to women, and I really wasn't going out much and experiencing much of a social life except for close friends and family. Now, that does not mean that today, right now, the current version of me recording this video is perfect and I'm some kind of like Superman that's able to control myself on levels that no one ever dreamed of, because obviously no one's perfect. I certainly have moments where I give in to those stimuli and I choose to experience the stimuli for what they are giving me, but I also remain conscious of the fact that too much exposure to them is negative. All I'm saying is that even a small improvement can go a very long way in today's society, and building an awareness of these things can go a long way, okay? So I'm gonna leave you now with a video of a friend of mine named Tim. He trains at a fighting gym every single day, and he's been doing that for a while.
Since you've been dedicating yourself to training at the gym, like almost every day during the week, do you think that your self-control has improved? That's the first question.
So if you just show up to the gym every single day and you didn't want to do it, you're already improving your self-control. And then at one point, when you show up to the gym and you build the habit, it's no longer about building your self-control. You built a good habit and you move on to the next one, right? So do I have good self-control? I have good self-control in going into the gym in the first place, starting to build the habit. That's where the self-control came from. And then afterwards, after you develop that good habit, you have the self-control to create another good habit. Going to the gym was the first good habit. Training, okay, now what am I gonna do when I'm at the gym? I already have the habit of showing up. Okay, now I'm gonna improve my jiu-jitsu. I'm gonna focus on my jiu-jitsu when I go there. Okay, now I'm gonna improve my striking when I go there. Okay, now I'm gonna focus on my diet. And as soon as you nail one good habit, you go on to the next one. If you're talking about self-control in that aspect, it's not as simple as that. You have to have the self-control in the first place to step into the gym. And then a lot of people tell you it's just show up. But even if you show up and you did 3 push-ups, you showed up to the gym. And then the next time you show up, you're gonna be like, I don't wanna do 3 push-ups, it's boring. I wanna do 5 push-ups now. You're gonna do 5 push-ups, you're gonna improve yourself. And then you can apply that to different aspects of your life, which I think you're trying to transition to in the end, right?
Yeah, basically. So what I'm wondering is, if you think going to the gym every day and waking up at 5 in the morning and going to the fighting gym has improved other aspects of your life, interacting with other people, do you think you're sharp in your communication skills? Are you more sharp in other areas of your life? And you think that fighting has carried over to that, basically?
Probably any physical activity. So there's this thing called transitional skills. So whenever you get a skill, you get something, you learn how to do something, a lot of times you can transition to another part of life, another area of life, right? Fighting isn't just like athletic. Like, it's not just like, okay, there's the athletic part, which you can transition to other parts, other domains of your life, but there's also the mental part, right? Fighting is a one-on-one sport. So whether you like it or not, you're gonna have to be inside your opponent's head. You're gonna have to, there's a element of psychology. Sometimes you'll fight a guy and he'll be more athletic than you, but you're gonna beat him, or vice versa. Why is it the guy that's less athletic is gonna win? Because it's a mental game, it's a strategy game, right? So as you're honing your body, don't get it twisted, you're definitely honing your mind. You're learning control, you're learning to fight against your instincts, you're learning to fight against, when you get punched in the face, one of the things you're gonna learn, you have to keep your eyes open. When someone's punching you in the face, you're gonna have to keep your eyes open. When someone's trying to punch you, you wanna back away from a punch. If you're a good striker, you're a good fighter, you're gonna go towards the punch. You're fighting against all your instincts. And then if you wanna talk about transitional skills in other areas of your life, well, when you have shitty instincts of doing something that's bad for you, when you have an instinct to go after, I don't know, you have lust for a girl or something, and you're like, but she's a red flag. Well, you'll have the self-control to be like, I don't need to do that. I'll go against that instinct. When you're watching your diet and instinctually you're hungry, or you want to consume drugs, or you want to consume alcohol, or you want to smoke or something, you'll find yourself having more self-control with that. In the end, though, I find my way of living is I want to do exactly what I want. But yeah, for sure, I think it does transition into other areas, and it does make you, obviously, you get a tolerance to pain. You get more confidence. You improve your confidence. That's going to help you greatly in every domain in your life, right? A lot of people are scared of fighting. They have a lack of confidence for that. A lot of guys, low-key, want to fight. They want to be tough. There's a little bit of a physical intimidation factor in every interaction you have with another man, right? A lot of people have said that. You've seen like some... Yeah, you see. Single male. There we go. Cameraman's the light guy's talking. Why the fuck is a light guy talking? A lot of people have said that there's like an underlying threat of violence. Well, if that underlying threat of violence is completely, for me, it's removed. There is no underlying threat. There's an underlying threat of someone shooting me or something, or like stabbing me, but there's no underlying threat of someone physically assaulting me. Generally, I can pick up the signs most of the time, right? So I don't have that. I can go into most engagements with people knowing that I'm more than likely not gonna get caught with a surprise sucker punch or whatever. I'm not gonna get beaten up. But in real life, you don't get into fights. That's the way it is, right? You want to de-escalate, you want to be calm. A lot of people fight because me personally, when I was younger, I would get into fights because I was scared. I was scared I would get hurt. Now I don't have that fear anymore. I'm able to de-escalate because I have that confidence in myself. So that's one way that I transitions, and maybe it can give you some self-discipline in a form of confidence, or in a form of, well, confidence, yeah. Confidence makes sense.
Right on, man.
If you guys are enjoying this content so far, let me know with a comment down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you want to support the content I make, you can click on this link right here, which will take you to my stockbroker's website. Their name is Interactive Brokers. And when you click on that link, it will support the content I make directly. So thank you very much. Let's keep going. I think it was at the beginning of this year, in the year 2023, where I pretty much decided that I needed to stop using Instagram, the Instagram application. This is a social media application, and it's widely used by, people, young people, I guess. And I have a few things to say about Instagram. So I think it's very important to discuss this, even when talking about self-control, because the Instagram application, also in the same category as TikTok, sort of with the reels and all that, it is all a big attention grab. The whole entire thing is an attention grab from the app logo itself. the pink, yellow, purple. It is such a weird, compelling image that it makes you want to click on it. That's all it does. It's drawing your attention into that world. And you need to have the mental fortitude in place to be able to see that and combat that reaction you might have to want to open the app. So what I did as a strategy to remove it is I simply removed it off of my phone. Now, I still experience the stimuli of Instagram. I'll tell you how I do it. I use it on the browser version every now and then. So whenever I want to know about what my friends are doing, posting stories and stuff, I simply go on the web browser and I go to Instagram. Now, Instagram is primarily a mobile application, so the desktop version doesn't work very well. In fact, it's pretty terrible. And then the other thing is that I had a habit for maybe a few years of posting Instagram stories, which were fine. I'm sure a lot of people enjoyed them. Some of them were really nice too. What I realized is that I need to be channeling my energy into places that are much more lucrative than Instagram stories. Instagram is practically a dating app for females, and it's practically a dick measuring contest for guys. At least the public side of Instagram is. It's all this superficial, materialistic garbage that has no real correlation to reality. You know, it's like it's another virtual world in itself where it's like who can flex more than the other. It promotes a lot of things that I think are harmful. And another thing is that since Instagram is owned by Facebook, I believe that Facebook, they control very carefully what kind of content is shown to what demographics. And I have seen this multiple times where they show me over-sexualized images on Facebook without even having any watch history at all. I think they just use the demographic in their algorithm. They say, okay, this guy is between the age of 20 and 30. We're gonna show him some hyper-sexualized images because we wanna mess with his dopamine receptors and we want him to masturbate and give up his precious sexual energy to some random fucking image on the internet when you should be channeling it into building and improving the lives of people around you. Just to give you guys a bit of perspective of how far I believe society's fallen into this world of attention seeking, attention grabbing, and the promoting of certain characteristics that I believe are harmful to productivity and self-control. One thing that I think is very harmful in today's society is what I call the hypersexualization of society. And I'm sure you've seen this if you've watched any number of music videos in the last 10 years. So these pop culture music videos and movies, they like to promote things like promiscuity in women and promoting lust and chasing women for the sole purpose of pleasure in the men. This behavior by men in turn fuels the women to continue displaying that promiscuous behavior, which fuels the cycle to keep going. I believe humans have far more potential for creativity in building great things, and this is one of the reasons I'm making this video, to show you that when you reduce the stimuli of this deranged world, you can start to improve your life and the lives of your loved ones. Fully aware of the fact that life is very hard and there's going to be moments where, you know, you feel like stopping, you feel like taking a break, you might even feel like giving up totally, but over time you're going to get better. The trick is just to stay on it. You know, you don't want to quit, because when you quit, it means you've stopped growing. Look, if you're trying to make $1 million from nothing, then you have a lot of work to do, my friend, and you cannot afford to stop growing. If you stop growing, you've given up, and you're not going to get the $1 million that you're trying to make. You have to dedicate yourself. Now, obviously, in today's day and age, going from zero to making $1 million, it's quite a long stretch, and that's why generally you want to separate that main goal into smaller chunks and attack those one at a time, and I think that's a better method. I think that you could work on your self-control and your discipline by doing trading, but I also think there's a lot of other areas in your life that have a greater impact on your ability to control yourself that I think it's important to study as well. That's why I talked about social media and pornography, because these are main stimuli of your dopamine receptors in today's day and age. And if you don't have control over your dopamine intake, you're certainly not going to have very good self-control when it comes to other things, and trading is one of them. So thank you for watching, guys. If you really enjoyed this video, let me know with a comment. Check out some other videos over here. I'm going to put the comments here. All right, see you in the next one. Take care.